Welcome to the Pesticides, Fertilizers, Runoff Virtual Lab. We're going to start with pesticides. Pesticides are used to protect crops against insects, weeds, fungi, and other pests. They play a significant role in food production. They protect or increase yields and the number of times per year a crop can be grown on the same land. This is particularly important in countries that face food shortages. Pesticides can be advantageous, but they are potentially toxic to humans and can have both acute and chronic health effects, depending on the quantity and ways in which a person is exposed. Some of the older, cheaper pesticides can remain for years in soil and water. These chemicals have been banned from agriculture use in developed countries, but they are still used in many developing countries. People who face the greatest health risk from exposure to pesticides are those who come in contact with them at work, in their home, or garden. But what about fertilizers? Fertilizers are applied to replace the essential nutrients for plant growth to the soil after they have been depleted. So fertilizers are a good thing, but can they also be harmful? This is where runoff comes into play. What is runoff? Runoff is exactly what it sounds like. It's runoff of water from heavy rains, watering gardens, crops, that kind of thing. But not only does water take sediments through erosion, but it also carries the chemicals that are there too, meaning pesticides and fertilizers. So where does it go and what does it do? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at runoff. What I've created here is a landscape with some different landforms. Tried to make them some different sizes and some different shapes. I colored them different colors so they'd be easy to see. They are all created with just some wadded up pieces of paper underneath the plastic, except for the orange one, which is a little round plastic container. In the center right here, you can see some water, in case you couldn't see it without me moving it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to simulate rain to see what happens with runoff. Pause the video here and complete part 1 on your lab report. When you have completed with part 1, start the video again and continue with part 2. Runoff can create a whole host of environmental problems, but perhaps the biggest is algal blooms. Algae are microscopic plants that live in every type of body of water, acting as producers in aquatic food webs. However, when excess nitrogen and phosphorus from agricultural runoff enters a watershed, it provides algae with excess nutrients, allowing their populations to grow exponentially. Let's take a look at a demonstration. Here I have 4 cups of pond water. In each cup there is approximately 100 milliliters of the pond water. The pond water was collected from a backyard koi pond. In this demonstration, we will have 4 samples, as you can see by the labels. The first cup at the far left is the control sample, and each of the remaining 3 will receive a different amount of fertilizer in each cup. And here you can see the type of plant fertilizer that I used. After the fertilizer was mixed in the samples were taken to a warm location. They were placed under a plant light, and they were also sitting on a heating pad to keep the temperatures as constant as possible. The samples stayed in this location for 8 days. The next 4 images that you will see will be the result of this demonstration. Now it's time to finish your lab report. Good luck.